On today's episode, I will be talking about 3 of the biggest things that really hold you back from getting results, whether that be, mental results in terms of improved mindset, whether that be physical results in terms of your results in the gym, looking hotter, looking shredded, or whether that be nutritional in terms of changing habits, in terms of your food intake. All of those I will be covering and helping you overcome. Welcome to the Breakthrough the Bullshit podcast. I am your host, Alice Round. I am pumped to have you here. We are going to really strip back all of the bullshit surrounding nutrition, training, fad diets, everything in the industry, so that we can give you education to get the best possible results. So sit back, enjoy the ride, and let's go through all this bullshit. Welcome back to another episode. Thanks for tuning in. I am so thankful for the response that we've been getting first up from the podcast. Anyone that's commented, I've had comments on my Instagram, Snapchat. It's been insane, and I'm really, really thankful to everyone that goes out of their way to comment. It just really shows me that the content is actually being listened to for a start, and that you're enjoying it. And as I said, if there's any topics that you want covered, then snap me at Ali Round. It's the same name on Instagram. Shoot me an email. You can always jump on the website. Anything like that. And of course, I do share them all on YouTube, so you can always comment on the YouTube video themselves, and I'll be happy to cover content in future episodes. So today I am doing a quick one today. I'm just going to talk about my top 3 things that will help you succeed in life. And I know that's a very, very big statement, but these are just 3 things that I've learned, I would say definitely more so about in the last 6 months. I would say the last 6 to 12 months, I've really changed mentally myself and grown from the person I was a few years ago, pushing back 10 years ago. I'm almost 29, and I feel like it's taken me the last 9-10 years to start to get my shit together mentally, in terms of how I see my body image, how I see my business, how I see relationships, all of that. And there's by no means do I claim to be perfect, and I'm definitely not. But I think that I'm a lot more in tune with what my problems are, or what things I struggle with, and then strategies in place as to how I can work on them. Because individually, we all have our own struggles and things that challenge us. I like to use that word rather than saying they're our problems, because if you say they're our problems, you're holding on to that problem, rather than saying that's a challenge that I'm facing, or that's something that has arisen today and it's really challenging my beliefs, or more challenging the way that you might see a situation, or just challenging you in general, rather than holding on to something and being like, that's my problem. Because if you hold on to a problem, it's never going to go away. And that's definitely one of the topics we'll be talking about today. So basically what I'm trying to say is, it takes time to actually accept and understand what your problems are, or those problems that have been facing you, and how you can see them more as challenges and overcome them, and get away from being so attached and hanging on to those problems that might be a part of your life. And I think as well, we need to understand that a problem is very, very different for a different individual. And what I mean by that is, how I might perceive a situation and how a client might perceive a situation are 2 completely different things. What I mean by that is, for somebody falling over and hurting their knee and then not being able to train for a couple of days might be the end of the world. They might be like, oh my God, like I'm prepping for a show and I can't train for a few days and everything's going to suck, and then I'm not going to get lean enough, and it's all going to go out the window. Whereas for me, I would see that as, all right, yeah, I've hurt my knee, a couple of days off the gym, but I can still focus on my nutrition. I can still probably maybe do some form of like cardio, maybe seated bike. I can still train upper body. It'll all be fine. So it's all about perception and how you perceive situations you're coming face to face with, and whether you perceive them in a negative light, and whether you take on that negativity from it, or whether you try to see the positives in every situation, which is obviously something that everyone says all the time, but I think it's a really important thing to do, and we all are guilty of it. Like, I know when I've had days where maybe 4 or 5 things in a row have just like, shit's hit the fan, you've slept through your alarm, missed a client, then you've run out of petrol, and then you've got an injury in the gym, and then maybe your food's off that you've prepped, and it's just kind of one thing after the other. But again, they're not things that are like life or death. They're not really major things that are going to cause big problems in your life. And what I always say to clients is, how are you going to feel about it tomorrow or the next day? And if they're things that you're really not going to be thinking about over the next few days, they're probably not worth wasting your energy over. It's different when, a real problem might be something like you've been diagnosed with an illness or a disease, or you found out a family member's really sick, or, that something else is going on. Then I understand that that's going to be something that will be different to digest, and that won't be something that you're going to forget about. But at the same time, you can't let something like that consume all of your thoughts. Because say, for example, you've got a family member that's sick and then you don't look after yourself. So say you're using that as an excuse. Oh, I didn't get to the gym because I've been worrying about this person. Or I didn't eat very well because, and blaming it on someone else's problem. And I'm sure that person that is suffering, they probably want you to look after yourself so that you can then in return look after them. Because if you're not looking after yourself, it's very, very hard to help other people. And I think that's a big one that I try to help a lot of mums with. I've got a lot of mums that I'm working with at the moment, and they don't make any time for themselves. They don't make themselves a priority. They want to be a perfect mum to their kids, which I absolutely respect, but aiming for perfection is just going to end you up being really, really unhappy. So I guess to all the mums out there, and I know I'm not a mum, so I'll probably get people saying, yeah, but you can't relate. Look, I've worked with a lot of mums and I see it. I've seen it from a lot of different points of view, busy working mums to mums that don't work and are at home, and seeing all the different relationships that they have, with their children and with their family. So I think it's one of those things where we all do it. So other people, one thing might be, I'm a busy mum, so I've got no time for myself. Another person in a high-powered business role, a lawyer, a doctor, whatever it is, will say, I've got no time for myself because of my job. And then someone else that's maybe studying and a uni student will say, I've got no time for myself because I'm studying. Do you see the point I'm trying to make? Is that everyone's got something that's making them busy. Everyone's got stuff in their life that they're saying is, causing them maybe stress or anxiety or whatever it is. Everyone's got shit that's going on. And at the end of the day, you made those choices. You chose to have children. You chose to work that job. You maybe chose to be in that relationship, or you chose to go to university. So why is it that we have so much negativity towards the choices that we make in our life? Like, if you don't want to do something, don't do it. Yeah, I know it's different. Sometimes, you have unexpected pregnancy or whatever it is, but at the end of the day, you're making the choice to, still have that child in your life, to still bring it up, all of those things. So it's all about perspective and changing the perspective on how you see things. And if you're not happy and it's something that you can change, I understand there's some things in your life that you can't physically change, then do something about it. If you don't like your job, change jobs. If you don't like certain things stressing you out, then try to remove them. There's so many things that we can do. And my first point that I finally got to about the biggest things that hold you back is fear. So people hang on to fear as if it's like their best friend. And what I mean by that is people hang on to the fear that, what if I quit my job? I won't have any money. What if I quit, broke up with my boyfriend? No one will ever love me again. What if I dropped out of uni or, went part-time? It's going to take me longer to get there, and then I might never get a real job. There's all these little fears, and they're almost like little lies that we tell ourselves to stop ourselves from being productive. Now, if you flip that and went the other way around and said, hey, if I quit my job, it will force me to then be in a position where I need money, where I might actually go out there and do something that I'm passionate about. Or I might actually get a chance to be in a new industry that I might even end up really loving. You never know until you really try something. So it might be the same in a relationship. You might be in a super unhappy relationship and you finally rip the Band-Aid off and get out of it. And then you realize you're getting out of it a little bit worried, maybe thinking, oh, I'm not going to meet anyone ever again and no one's going to love me. And then you might get out of it and go, oh my God, I forgot how good it is being single. I forgot how nice it is just to spend time with myself, just to actually get in touch with who you are as a person. And that's something that I definitely learned. I was in a 4-year relationship, well, 3 or 4 years on and off, and a very toxic relationship when I was like 18 to, I think it was about 20, 21, 22. And very toxic, very negative. it just drained me. I had no passion for my work. I was a PT then, I just started, but I didn't really love it. I was at uni, and my whole day revolved around that relationship because I had this fear that this person that was probably cheating on me, I had a fear that if I broke up with them fully, if I fully left the relationship, that no one else would ever love me the same way that I thought that person did. And you're like, how could that person actually love me if they were off cheating on me, or they're off doing all these horrible things and disrespecting me? Because I let them disrespect me by staying with them and enforcing that type of behavior. So what we have to look at is that once I actually ripped the Band-Aid off and that relationship ended, I also quit my job and I changed where I was working because I was unhappy there as well. And then the new job really forced me to spend more time on my marketing and my social media and getting myself out there, because I wasn't very confident at the end of that sort of broken relationship either. That was when I did my first show, and I really gained confidence from doing all of those sort of things. And then at the same time, it also made me realize that I didn't really love the person that I was, and that I had to spend a bit of time improving my relationship with myself, which takes a very long period of time. It doesn't mean you have to be up yourself in any way. People that know me know that I'm not that type of person. It just means that you have to learn to love certain things about yourself before you can expect someone else to. And that was why I was probably in a relationship with someone that didn't wholly love me either. And it's taken me years to get that. And I know I'm going off the fitness topic, but I think that's a big thing, especially for women. It's that security of a relationship. And I was young, I was only 22, and I was thinking, oh no, I have to marry this person, which is fucking stupid. And it's funny how I met my partner now. Didn't expect anything from it. I've been happily single for like a good couple of years, on and off, met people, but nothing that I really felt like was 100% right in terms of fully getting into a relationship. And anyway, I met him and I honestly just thought it's going to be a friendship. It's going to be someone that's cool, that's, in the industry that I like hanging out with. And I think we were both in positions with our lives. We were really happy where we were, single, but at the same time, we knew there was something, a relationship is an extra add-on that you can have in your life. And it just is easy, and that's the way it should be, because I got rid of the fear of putting so much pressure on a relationship, pressure for it to be perfect, or pressure for me to be with a certain person, all of these sort of things that really, really hold you back negatively in your life. So fear is one of the biggest ones holding you back. If you don't get rid of fear, you're going to have the same problems that occur all the time. You're not going to be able to progress forward in your life, and you're going to continue to be in the same shitty place year in after year in. So year in and year out, God. So that's one of the biggest ones, fear. The second thing, to work on for overall success is focusing on getting rid of talking about the past. It's a really big one that it ties in with fear, but people hang on to their past. So what I mean by that is, let's say, for example, you had a bad upbringing, and everyone has different takes on what a bad upbringing is. For one person, that might mean that you didn't really have a lot of money, but your parents still loved you, but it was a bit of a struggle. That might mean a bad upbringing to one person. Another person, it might mean that their parents used to kick the shit out of them, and that they were abused emotionally, physically, whatever it was. It's all about perspective, like we said before. So obviously the second one, in my eyes, is a lot worse. You've still been loved, but maybe just not had certain materialistic things. So it's all about looking at your past, and even if you were that person that had been abused mentally or physically or emotionally, it's getting rid of that and not holding on to that makes you that person. It's like how people hold on to fat, and people that are often struggle with being overweight or having excess body fat, they hang on to it. So I'll ask a new client, say if they're a bit overweight, or say, talk to them about their emotions and their feelings, and they'll constantly in the conversation say, it's because I'm fat. I've always been fat. I've always been the fat kid. I've always had problems with my weight. I've always. It's like they're constantly telling themselves that that's the person that they are. I'm fat. It's not I have fat. It's not I have a bit of extra body fat I'd like to try to reduce. It's I am fat. And it's that negative self-talk and holding on to the past that really will not help you progressing forward in the future. Because it's like you've already told your brain, like, I'm not willing to change. I am clinging on to this for dear life. And I think it's a fear as well in there that when they do achieve what they wanted to achieve and they let go of that they don't know how to be who they are without that. So if you're someone that maybe is overweight and then you lose weight, you're worried that you'll lose your sense of identity or who you are, which can be a good thing and a bad thing. It can be a good thing in the sense that you might get to really take that as empowerment, and that's the way I try to encourage clients to see it. Like if you're unhappy with so many aspects of your life and your body fat is one of them, if you maybe drop body fat, you can kind of try to change your attitude along with it and kind of become a more improved version 2.0 of yourself, where you're empowered, you're confident, all of these things that maybe you write down a list of the things that you don't like about yourself really at the moment and things that you may want to work on, and then tie them together rather than it being like, when I lose the fat, I'll be X, Y, and Z. It might be like, as I work on this goal, I'm going to also work on my confidence and work on this, this, and this. Because I will tell you straight up, even if you lose body fat, if your mind isn't there mentally, you're still going to be the same person. And you're still going to have your mental battles. So you need to figure out not only, like, it's not always just one thing that causes a problem. So going back to that point of the past, I do think that it's really important to move on from the past and learn how to get through it. It doesn't mean you have to ignore it, but it just means that you can't dwell on it. So it's like, it's okay to talk about it if it's still affecting you, but talk about it in the short term and make it be in the past. So you're talking about it as a past experience. You're not saying, because of my past, you're saying this happened in my past, but it doesn't make me who I am today. Okay, so things from the past can, yeah, of course they shape our future, but it's up to you how you hold on to that. And if they're good things and they made you a better person or improved your life or upgraded your life, then keep focusing on that positivity. But if they're things that were a negative, focus on how you've either grown from them, but how they're not a part of who you are today. So that is a big one. Now, the last one that I want to talk about is clarity. I feel like a big reason why people don't succeed in the gym, nutrition, life, business, whatever, and it's something that I've struggled with over the years and have got a lot better again in the last 12 months, is clarity. So clarity around what they maybe want to do in business or what goals they want to have in the gym. And I always ask my clients to set goals. And some of them really struggle with it. And it's like, if you're not clear on why you're here, your why, your how are we going to know how to put the steps in place to get there? And I don't mean wishy-washy goals. Like, they can't come in and say, oh, I just want to lose weight. Like, that's not a goal. Like, what do we want to do? Why do you want to lose weight? What will it mean to you? What will the end result be? Creating clarity is really, really, really important. And especially in business, for me, I kind of fell into being a personal trainer and then kind of fell into certain industries, fell into online coaching. And I think that was why I had a little bit of confusion with my clarity over the last few years, was that I wasn't sure if it's where I wanted to go with things. And until I really sat down and had a good think and a brainstorm, and brainstorming is great. So write clarity in the big piece of paper, put it in the center, or write down whatever your business is, or your health and fitness goals. And off that, start putting things into place that make you happy. So for me, I had to look at business and happiness and go, well, the things that make me the most happy in terms of what I do for a job is seeing people get results. At the end of the day, I'm all about results. So seeing them, and whether, I don't mean that by they have to get leaner, I mean that by they get stronger, they get mentally stronger, they get more empowered, they are more confident. Those for me are results and KPIs, key performance indicators. So how I see if a client's doing well. They haven't lost any weight, and that's not their goal, but they are walking into the gym confidently. They are so happy in their life. They're so balanced with their nutrition. They're maybe not binging anymore, doing any of those things. I've done my job. So I'm very happy. So my clarity became more clear when it was like, okay, well, I want to help more people. And then doing as much one-on-one, so doing as much personal training, is not really helping me get to that end goal where I'm trying to impact on people's life and making a lot of people a lot happier. So what I mean by that is, yes, personal training is awesome, but personal training should be there for, yes, a bit of motivation, but mainly for technique, for coaching in the gym. You don't go to a PD session to sort out your mindset, really, unless that's what your personal trainer, what they want to specialize in. But I feel like there's so many other ways you can help mindset rather than spending that 45 minutes of a PT session talking about mindset. I think it's important to separate them, because if you're not in a positive headspace when you're training and you're starting to talk about like your past and your fears and all of this, in the middle of a session, it's not really the space for it. At the same time, your mindset needs to be clear going into a personal training session. So I always ask my clients, how's your day been? How are you actually feeling today? And then gauge off that. All right, they've had a bit of an average day. Do we either smash them to get that out of their system, or do we ease off a little bit because I can tell they're a bit fragile? And it's all about like learning where your client's at mentally. And as much as I love PT, it doesn't allow me to help a lot of people in short periods of time. There's only so many hours in a day you can train someone. But whereas with online coaching and my programs like Breakthrough, I'm able to reach out to a lot more people and now create a team of coaches around that we can help so many women and have a bigger impact. And for me, that's more special for me, helping thousands of women and helping people long term and helping them on like more of a daily basis, like having groups and communities. And that's what we have in my programs, like little Facebook groups and different things that we do every day. And I get sent Snapchats, and it's really, really sweet to see. And it lights up my day. And I don't believe that we ever do anything unselfishly. And I think that, I want to help people, but I'm selfish because I get happiness from it. And I thrive off people being happy and people succeeding. And I actually love a challenge. So I love a client that's like a hard case. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to have to really think about this one. And that's why I get a lot of the tough problems of females that are struggling with things that come to me. So a big one is figure out your clarity and always bring your clarity back to your why. So why are you doing something? And then how can you get clear on getting to that end goal? So like it might be setting up a 6 or 12 month goal. So that's the same with nutrition and training. Like at the moment, my goal last year was strength. My goal was to hit a 160 deadlift, a 120 squat, and a 75, I think I set as my bench target. And I hit all those and above. And that was great. That was my goal. They were my KPIs. Now my goal this year is to get a DEXA scan done and to be like sub 12%. That's the goal. We'll see what happens there, but that's the goal. So my goal now is to really work on my body fat and fuel my metabolism so that I can keep my metabolism as efficient as possible whilst getting lean and getting into shape and all of those things. And I don't believe that body fat is the be all and end all, but I think that it's good to have periods in your life where you're focusing on different things. And that is one of my goals at the moment. And that's my clarity. So then generating a training and nutrition program that's going to get me there over the course of 6 months. It's not going to happen overnight. So, if we've got about 10% to drop or whatever it is, it's around about that number, maybe 10 or 12, then that might be on this case of 0.5% a week or a little bit more. I always factor in a week where you might get sick and things like that. So we're looking at 20 to 25, maybe 30 weeks. So I have actually set it for a 30-week mark, which starts in, I think it's 2 more weeks. So at the moment, I'm just kind of on maintenance till then. So it's all about creating clarity. So if you are ever confused about your direction or your vision, go back to your why, understand your why, and then create some clarity around that. And clarity is steps and strategies of how to get there. So I hope these 3 little tips helped you. So again, I will summarize them back up for you. So the 3 biggest things that we want to work on is overcoming fear, the past and not dwelling on the past, and then gaining clarity. So I hope these 3 tips helped you today. I've got some really cool podcast guests coming up, so I'm really excited for that. I'm going to have Eric Helms on the show later this week. On Friday, I'll be interviewing him, so I'll be bringing that up on Saturday. So if you have any questions before that goes up, it is Thursday today, so hopefully you've listened to this and then I'll be interviewing him tomorrow. You can email alice@aliceround.com. Otherwise, again, I'll put an Instagram post up. Comment on that. If you have any questions for him, if you don't know who he is, look up 3DMJ. He is an amazing coach, a very, very smart man, and I'm very pumped to have him on the show. So be sure to ask any questions. If you have any questions about my Breakthrough program or any programs that I am running at the moment, then also just jump on my website, flick me an email. You know where to get at me. And thank you so much for tuning into this mindset episode on Breakthrough. Have a fabulous day. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Breakthrough the Bullshit with your host, Alice Round. If you would love to get in contact with me in regards to any of the content, coaching, or any other services, please send an email to info@aliceround.com. Otherwise, jump on my website, social media @aliround, same as my Snapchat. And if you have any questions about future shows, topics you'd like covered, then by all means contact me on those and or to inquire about any upcoming programs. Really appreciate the support and thank you for listening to another episode.